Since we are little, the first face we recognize is our mother's. Her voice is the first music we hear. Her smell, the first sign of safety. Her presence, the first form of home. And yet, in adulthood, that same face can become an emotional labyrinth. Her voice can hurt. Her presence, discomfort. Her memory, pain. Why does this happen? Why is it so hard to heal when it comes to the mother figure? And why do so many people, even after years of therapy, books, spiritual retreats, and painful silences, still feel an invisible weight that doesn't let them move forward? The answer, although painful, is simple, because they haven't understood what I'm about to tell you. And until you do, you're not going to heal. Immanuel Kant once said that the human being must come out of their minority of age, that is, the dependence on the thought of others, to become a free being. And although we don't say it openly, many adults continue living in the emotional shadow of their mother, fearing her judgment, seeking her approval, struggling with wounds they don't know how to name. Today I want to guide you on a journey, one that doesn't seek to assign blame, but to offer clarity. Because healing is not blaming, healing is understanding. And from that understanding, choosing with freedom, the first truth you must understand is this: your mother was also a wounded daughter. Before being a mother, she was a girl. And that girl learned about love, fear, guilt, and shame in ways you never saw. Maybe she was raised in a home where affection was scarce, where duty came before tenderness, where being strong meant not crying, where no one taught her to love herself, and much less to love another in a healthy way. And then, that girl grew up, became a woman, and later, a mother. And since no one taught her how to heal, she repeated what she knew. Maybe she was overprotective. Maybe she was distant. Maybe she was critical. Maybe she loved you with an intensity that suffocated, or with an absence that hurt. But behind all that, there was a wound she didn't know how to name, didn't know how to care for, didn't know how to keep from passing on to you. This doesn't justify, but it explains. And that is the difference between resentment and liberation. The second point you must understand is this: healing doesn't depend on your mother changing, nor on her asking for forgiveness, nor on her understanding what you went through. Your healing cannot be conditioned on her evolution, because that leaves you trapped, because that puts you on pause. Kant taught that the moral dignity of the human being lies in their autonomy, in their capacity to act not out of emotion nor out of fear, but out of rational conviction. If you need your mother to recognize your pain in order to heal, then she still holds power over you. And as long as that happens, your freedom remains incomplete. True healing comes when you decide to release the longing for her to be different, when you accept that she may never understand, but you no longer need her to in order to be at peace. Because peace is not what others give you, it's what you choose to build. The third element is even deeper. Healing does not mean distancing yourself emotionally from your mother. It means stopping the expectation that she will be someone else. Healing is not fleeing. Healing is returning to yourself. When a child does not receive what they need, they build a fantasy. They say, if I try harder, she'll love me. If I don't make mistakes, she'll hug me. If I'm perfect, she'll be proud of me. That fantasy does not die with the years. Sometimes it only changes form. And as adults, we keep seeking our mother's approval in every achievement, in every relationship, in every decision. And when it doesn't come, it hurts. But it doesn't hurt because of what is. It hurts because of what we imagined it should have been. Healing is saying goodbye to that fantasy. It is seeing your mother as a limited, complex, imperfect human being, and from there, deciding who you want to be, not as a reaction to her story, but as an expression of your freedom. The fourth point may be uncomfortable. If you continue blaming your mother for everything you cannot be, you are giving away your power. You are using her figure as an excuse not to change. And even if what you lived was unfair, even if it left deep wounds, the adult you are today has the moral duty to choose your path. Kant stated that morality begins when we stop blaming circumstances and begin to act according to principles, not from the past, but toward the future. You can cry for what was missing. You can acknowledge what hurt, but you cannot stay there, because if you do, your whole life will be a silent protest against a story you can no longer rewrite. The last point is this: to forgive is not to forget, nor to justify, nor to reconcile if you don't want to. Forgiving, in its purest form, is to recover the power you lost by staying trapped in pain. It is to say, this hurt me, but it no longer defines me. This marked me, but it no longer limits me. This was real, but it no longer rules me. And sometimes, that forgiveness is not expressed with words. It's expressed with distance, with boundaries, with silence, with decisions that prioritize your emotional health. Because forgiveness is not always spoken. Sometimes, it's simply lived. So today, if you're reading this and feel a knot in your throat, if a part of you feels seen for the first time, I want to tell you something perhaps no one has told you. You are not alone. You are not broken. You are not wrong for feeling what you feel. You are growing, and sometimes growing hurts. Your mother was your first bond, and for that very reason, she can also be your greatest wound. But you are not condemned to repeat her story. You can love her without imitating her. You can honor her without silencing yourself. You can look at her with compassion without needing to keep bleeding. Immanuel Kant would say that true freedom begins when we stop being slaves to our emotions and begin to live according to a higher principle, that of dignity. And you, dear soul, reading this, have the right to live with dignity, even if that means taking distance from the one who gave you life. You are never going to heal waiting for her to understand. You are never going to heal demanding an apology. You are never going to heal living to not hurt her. You are going to heal when you say, I no longer need you to change because I have already chosen to be different. And that day, your soul will breathe for the first time, not as a daughter or son, but as a whole human being, free, responsible, at peace. That day, the story changes, and another begins. Yours true, sacred.